Welcome to Digital Learning, an initiative of Directorate of Collegiate Education, Government of Karnataka. In this presentation, the language activity of the lesson My Teacher written by Helen Keller is discussed, and the main concept here is summarizing. I am Nandana NG, Assistant Professor of English, GFGC, Bagepalli. The contents of this session: learning objectives, session outcome, recap of previous knowledge, summarizing, recapitulation, and multiple choice questions. The learning objectives. The student can the student can aim to discern the most essential ideas and consolidate important details that support them. The student can learn how to ignore irrelevant information. This session will help the student how to integrate the central ideas in a meaningful way, to focus on key words and phrases of an assigned text that are worth noting and remembering, how to take a large selection of text and reduce it to the main points for more concise or better understanding. This improves their memory for what is read. Summarization strategies can be used in almost every subject. Session outcomes. At the end of the session, the student will be able to discern the most important or essential ideas and consolidate the important details that support them. He or she will be in a better position to ignore irrelevant information. To integrate the central ideas in a meaningful way, the student will know how to focus on the key words and phrases of an assigned text that are worth noting and remembering. The student will know how to take a large selection of the text and reduce it to the main points for more concise understanding. First, let us try to define what is a summary. Summary can be defined as a condensed version of a longer passage, an essay, a chapter, or the original text, usually a full article or book. A summary is significantly shorter than the original, usually around a paragraph long. It involves presenting the main ideas of the original text in your own words. It is more than retelling. It's not just reiterating or rewriting the same thing. In fact, it is reading the passage, understanding it, and trying to put it in your own words but in a shorter form. What is a summary? It can also be defined as how to sort essential elements from the non-essential ones, and it can also be seen as to how to turn a large amount of information into a few short, cohesive or compact sentences. Be careful not to copy the exact wordings of the original. Or in fact, on the other side, you have a picture wherein it says summarize means to tell in your own words what has happened in the story. Summarizing is an important skill for students because it teaches students how to discern the most important ideas in a text. It teaches them how to ignore irrelevant information. It teaches them how to integrate the central ideas in a meaningful way. It improves their memory of what is read. It gives them practice in expressing important ideas and finding main ideas. It is also a way for them to monitor their own understanding. Summarizing is an important skill for students because it is a way for them to practice decision making and learn about sequencing. It can be used in many different subjects such as science and humanities. It can be used in real life situations, in college and in a job. It also improves critical thinking skills. It can improve writing and editing skills. How should you summarize, or what is the procedure to summarize? Read and reread the original text closely. Any number of reading will actually help you to gather the main points very easily. Make notes or underline the key points or the main ideas. Phrase the main point of the source in your own words. Paraphrase important supporting points and identify the details necessary for supporting the ideas. Consider any words, phrases, or brief passages that you believe should be quoted directly, but do it sparingly. You don't have to add all the quotations, only that which is appropriate. Find transitional words and phrases in the text that will alert you to the argument's deeper logical structure. Or try to find these words. Therefore, thus, thereby, since. These words show that there is a shift in the argument, that the thought process is shifting to another realm. Use phrases like according to the author to lead into the main idea and the summary. Form a full paragraph with full formed sentences. Avoid your opinion and give credit to the source. Avoid your opinion as in, do not write I feel that, I feel, or I opine. It is not your opinion. Read the passage and just try write what the author feels there. Check your outline with the original to make sure you have covered the important points. Make a rough draft by summarizing a text argument as fairly and accurately as possible. Make a final copy by fine-tuning it. Let us try to understand the difference between these three concepts: a quote, paraphrase, and précis. When writing an essay, we have to keep in mind the differences among quote, paraphrase, and précis. First, quotation. What is a quotation? A direct quotation means that you have borrowed exactly the same words of the source material and they must be enclosed in quotation marks. Quotation marks means those are the direct words of another individual. Here I have included an example. Helen Keller has said this: "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." Observe, it is in quotations as these are the words by Helen Keller. You cannot put this in your own words. You have to use quotations to indicate that these are the original quotes of Helen Keller. You may quote if you feel that the source words are so powerful that can never be replaced by your own words. Yes, a quotation like this can never be replaced. Paraphrase. It means writing the source's material in your own words. Whatever the other person has said, you are trying to put it in your own words. It may sometimes be approximately the same size as the original or slightly shorter. Here I have actually given it a humorous twist. Here we can see two birds there. One bird says yes and the other bird is saying he agreed. When the person says yes, the other person can paraphrase it by saying yes, he agreed. Précis. Précis is an academic term for summary. The pronunciation of the word précis, observe précis, précis, to convey a deeper understanding of the overall argument. Rather than simply paraphrase specific ideas of the source text, it is necessary to give a title and it is usually 1/3 of the size of the original. Now I have taken this exercise from the text. Make a summary of not more than 120 words describing the emergence of paper money used widely today. Let me just read the original passage. Buying things today is so simple. Just enter a shop, say a bookstore, choose the desired book and pay for it. Long ago, before the invention of money, how did people trade? The most primitive way of exchange should be the barter trade. In this form of transaction, people used goods to exchange for the things that they had in mind. For instance, if person A wanted a book and he had a spare goat, he must look for someone who has the exact opposite. That is, that someone, say person B, must have a spare book of person A's choice and is also in need of a goat. Having found such a person, the problem does not end there. A big goat may be worth only one book. Hence, a person B may have to offer person A something else, say 5 chickens. However, he runs the risk of person A rejecting the offer as he may also not need the chickens. The above example clearly illustrates the inefficiency of barter trading. Many years later, the cumbersome barter trade finally gave way to monetary exchange when the idea of money was invented. In the early days, almost anything could qualify as money: beads, shells, and even fishing hooks. Then in a region near Turkey, gold coins were used as money. In the beginning, each coin had a different denomination. It was only later, in about 700 BC, that Gyges, the king of Lydia, standardized the value of each coin and even printed his name on the coins. Monetary means of transaction at first bet the traditional barter trade. However, as time went by, the thought of carrying a ponderous pouch of coins for shopping appeared not only troublesome, but thieves also were attracted. Hence, the Greek and Roman traders who bought goods from people far away cities invented checks to solve the problem. Not only are paper checks easy to carry around, they discourage robbery as these checks can be used only by the person whose name is printed on the check. Following this idea, banks later issued notes in exchange for gold deposited with them. These bank notes can then be used as cash. Finally, the governments of today adopted the idea and began to print paper money which was backed by gold for the country's use. That's an interesting passage. Now the procedure to summarize. Read through the passage, give a suitable title. So the suitable title for this passage can be Emergence of Paper Money. Make notes or underline the main ideas. Note the supporting ideas. Form full paragraph but not in note form. Make a rough draft in your own words, and finally make the final draft. If you have used all the steps, if you have gone through all the steps, this is how more or less the final draft will be. As I suggested, the title for this passage can be Emergence of Paper Money. Today, besides enjoying the convenience of using paper notes as the mode of exchange, technology has led man to invent other means of transaction too, like the credit and cash cards. Long ago, see, that would be the first introductory sentence. Long ago, people bought things through barter trade. However, the difficulty of having to look for the right partner and dividing the goods led people to switch over to monetary transaction. You don't have to quote that example of person A and B, which is a rather long example there. Here you can just sum it up in this sentence. Next, near Turkey, gold coins with irregular denominations were used for trade. Later, King Geig standardized the individual coin value. People soon found carrying coins around for shopping troublesome and thieves' courting. Hence, merchants started to issue checks with the names of the users on them to discourage robbery. Following that, banks started to issue cash notes in return for gold and deposited with them. Finally, this becomes the conclusion sentence. Finally, adopting the idea, today the government's printed paper money backed by gold for the country's usage. The original long passage has been reduced to this small paragraph, which is 119 words. Let us try to recapitulate whatever we have learned through this. Summary, the definition of summary. Summary is a condensed version of a longer passage, an essay, chapter, or the original text, usually a full article or book. Summary, and we try to emphasize how summarizing is an important skill for students. The procedure, how should you summarize? And we should keep in mind the differences between quote or quotation, paraphrase, and précis. Multiple choice questions. A direct quotation consists of the exact words of a speaker or speakers, words the writer had taken from another source, both A and B, or none of the above. Remember, quotations that come in quotation marks are the answer, the exact words of a speaker or speakers. Quotation marks should be placed. Where should these quotation marks be placed? The options are at the beginning and end of a direct quotation from a speaker, at the beginning and end of a partial quotation, both A and B, or anywhere. Answer is option A, at the beginning and end of a direct quotation from a speaker. The quotation marks clearly indicate that these words are spoken by the speaker. What is paraphrasing? Options are direct quote, stealing someone else's word, rephrasing an original statement, or a phrase. Remember, paraphrasing is when you are trying to put into your own words whatever the other person has spoken. The answer is answer C, rephrasing an original statement. A summary is always written in dash tense, present, future, past, or none of the above. Yes, when you are summarizing it, it has already happened. So in that context, it is always in option C, past tense. A good summary should be elaborate, descriptive, include all examples, or short. Remember, a good summary should be short, precise, and should not include all examples. So the answer is option D, short. Précis is also known as quotation, summary, passage, or none of the above. And as we saw in the explanation, answer is option B, summary. Which of the following things are true about summaries? Summary is a shortened version. Summaries are shorter than paraphrases. Summaries are long. Summaries are elaborate. The obvious answer here is option A. A summary is a shortened version. In a summary, tables, chairs, sofas, and cupboards can be generalized as dash. The options provided are furniture, decorations, antiques, luxury. Look at the words table, chair, sofa, cupboard. Or instead of explaining all these or including all these words, you can have a one word substitution for these, and you can use the word furniture. So the answer is option A, furniture. We should avoid giving dash in the summary. Extra information, experiences, examples, or theories. The obvious answer is option C, examples. We should avoid giving examples in the summary. A good summary is generally dash of the length of the original passage, half the size, one third, a quarter, or two third. And the correct answer is answer B, one third. References used for the presentation: